you.
Thank you. Aw, so cute.
Did you get the sad one? I got the angry one. All right, Violet and I have landed. Hope we get across. All right, Violet and I have landed, and you just say that
We've landed in Downers Grove. We're going to see Geri Halliwell-Horner / Ginger Spice in a few hours.
Yay!
And yay, Ginger Spice. Yay! So this will be the book. It's time to find your power. Rosie Frost and the Falcon Queen. It's like, I feel like it's gonna be
an amazing experience in a few hours.
yes, but it looks like Harry Potter meets Jurassic Park or something.
Oh, cool. Oh, that's a good brand though. Folk Manis.
Oh.
Meh. 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 Hey Violet, what did you do when I said we can go eat at Red Lobster?
I've actually never eaten at a Red Lobster before.
You go, woo!
Make it cooler.
Violet's excited to meet Ginger. Hey Violet, how many times have you met, hold on, it's not focused, there we go. How many times have you met Ginger Spice?
This will be the second time.
Enough said. Yes. I'm in love with this mini fridge. Look at it. That's amazing. You got what?
I got makeup remover wipes in here and no almond things.
Yay! Oh, this is actually really great lighting.
I know.
Okay, Violet and I are second in line. Second in line. Cool. Ready. Yeah. Good?
Yeah. Yay!
You bought that on the website, right? Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to do the talking because I think Violet might be too excited right now to talk, but we ended up in the front row.
Victoria Days, then
Front row. Let's do a wide shot. Okay, look at that. Ah, look how beautiful it is.
Yay! To the stage too.
Okay, let's get the stage.
She's doing Polaroids with fans, but then the Polaroid.
Oh, hello, Violet.
As Ginger Spice, she played a formative role in their band as they became one of the biggest selling girl groups of all time. She is the successful author of the Eugenia Lavender book series and the autobiography, If Only. She continues to work with the Royal Commonwealth to promote prospects through literacy to Commonwealth citizens, and is to be awarded an honorary doctorate of letters at Sheffield Hallam University this autumn. You know this was written by a Brit because it says autumn, not fall. She is an outspoken supporter of animals and is an ambassador of the London Zoo, and tonight she is here to promote her new book, Rosie Frost and the Falcon Queen. Please welcome Geri Halliwell-Horner.
fantastic new book. Why did you write it?
I think there's a little baby in there. You know, it's so nice to see so many different faces, and I think good stories are for everyone, you know, whatever your age. And I just felt, and I love stories that are driven by character. Because if I don't care about the character, who cares whether they live or die when they go up the mountain or whatever? It's a character that I connect with. And a good character is timeless, ageless, and I just felt like, you know what, if I think about the world we are today, I feel like the world needs a new hero. And someone that's a real hero is vulnerable and is sometimes scared and is not airbrushed, you know, into is the alpha one. And that's relatable, that's courage, and that's a hero to me. And so that I started with that. And I'm a curious person, and you know, of all different things, whether it's history, conservation, science, the world we live in, and that started to inspire me as well. And about relationships. And so I started, now the time it's got here, it's 9 years ago. But I embarked on, like, she came to me, actually, for any real bookies out there, what happened was that I'd written this Eugenia Lavender, that was many years ago, that's from much younger, and I thought, I really want to go older, you know, and then I found an agent, and it was Christopher Little, and he discovered Harry Potter, so you know who that is. And he said to me, and so he said, yeah, I'll be your agent. And I said, oh, shall I just age Eugenia up? And he said, no, start again. So I was like, okay. So I just started again, and unfortunately he's passed away now. That's how long this book has taken. And so I just felt, I just never let her go. She just grew and grew, all the world and the friends in it. And although one might call it, you know, define it into a certain age group, I actually, you know, plan for her to be for everyone. You know, adults can read her, you know, whether you're 9 or 90, it doesn't matter. It's for you, anyone with a heartbeat.
Yeah. And have you always been a writer? Like, were you writing as a kid?
I always loved books, first and foremost, because my mum, she was out. We didn't have a lot of money when we were growing up, and so, you know, if other people went on holiday, when you say vacation, I'd go to the library and get a book out and just sit under the tree, and I'd get transported to different lands or different countries through a book. And then also, if I ever felt lonely, I could find comfort in a character. That was the first thing. And then I started writing. And, you know, I think I was in middle grade, I started writing. It's middle grade, around 9, 10, yeah, around that, yeah. And then, you know, I always loved it. And then before I went into music, I was studying theatre and English literature, like Sons and Lovers, D.H. Lawrence, Hamlet. And then I was doing really well. And I really liked the power of word. I felt, you know, obviously you know me as, you know, through music. But the truth is, you know, I'm no Mariah Carey, but she's an amazing songwriter. But I felt confident in the writing process. I liked that, and I felt confident. And I like the power of the words and the connection. And so for me, songwriting was like, it's almost like a cappuccino's shot of emotion. You've got that amount of time. But with a book, you know, we're going to go on an adventure together, and I'm going to endeavour to hold you and connect with you. It's just a different medium, the same feeling, but a different medium. But I always loved writing.
But you mentioned your music, and actually this book kind of combines both your music and your writing, because you wrote songs for this. There's a little QR code in the back of the book that you can follow, and it takes you to two of the songs.
I love music, and I just think I want, you know, basically Rosie Frost, you know, the world is immersive. it's Bloodstone Island, and it's going to take you somewhere. And I feel music always helps you with that narration and that connection. So and I've never stopped writing music the whole time. So I thought, why not bring that to the adventure as well?
And very few authors write music to go with their books. So.
Well, I got the idea actually. Do you know who Julia Donaldson is?
Yeah. Oh yeah. The Ruffalo. Yeah.
The Ruffalo. Yeah. So I've got a 6-year-old son, and I always do the bedtime story, and then you do the QR. So you've got the QR code, but it's like a nursery rhyme, and I was like, oh, okay. And I was thinking, why can't that be for grown-ups? Why can't we do this?
Are you the kind of person who sits down and you're like, I'm going to write an outline and I'm going to say every single plot point that happens every single step around the way? Or do you pants it? Is it a seat of your pants thing where you're just like, I'm just going to sit down and see what comes out? Which one are you?
I'm always character-led first, right? As I said, sometimes. So character has stayed the same. The characters in the book have stayed the same, right? But I would say, the reason why it took me so long, it was a baptism of fire. I've written obviously short stories before, but to do a big novel, oh my God, the discipline of it.
Yeah.
And I did originally write by the seat of your pants, as you said. I was just like, and it's a wonderful thing because you never know what's going to happen. But then I was struggling, and I met this writer called William Boyd. Now, if any of you might know him, he wrote Any Human Heart. He's like the Beethoven maestro of, he's amazing, this guy. And I met him, he sounds name droppy, so forgive me. I met him at Buckingham Palace on this literacy. I was standing there, and it was advocating literacy for the Commonwealth. And there was a nice gentleman there, and I was like, hi, and he said he was with Penguin, and I was like, oh, that's nice. And I'd already read his book, but I didn't realise it was him. And then when he said Penguin, I went, oh, would you read my manuscript, please? Right? And then it was like giving Humpty Dumpty to Beethoven. So I went, yeah. And he went, okay. And then he read it, and he said, okay, because I said, I'm really struggling. And he said, rewrite the whole thing, but this time, do it in the third person and the past tense. Because when you write it in the first person, you're sort of backed into a corner, and I didn't know this. And so I did that, and it just really frees you up. So that was probably the best advice I got in the storytelling. So I was learning as I went. So originally it was like, I didn't, but then, and so I had to go back and operate on a body. It was almost repairing it, which was really, I think it's really difficult to do it that way. But you said about structure. I don't think there's a right way to do it. Like the second book I'm doing that comes next, I've done the structure first. Because it sort of takes longer, the setup, but then you still have a bit of freedom. So, but it's like boundaries.
I mean, some people, if you gave a manuscript and they're like, okay, this is great, rewrite the whole thing, they'd be like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. But you actually did it. You actually went back and
I think it just, I think if I felt compelled to bring Rosie to the world. I felt like the world needs her. I was going on my instinct, and it sort of showed me. I was like, no, I know I'm not perfect at doing this, but I was just instinctively that I feel like the world needs a new hero, and the other characters in with her, the girls sometimes save the boys, but the boys are strong, but they sometimes cry. Those characters that you can relate to, they're modern day heroes.
Well, they're modern day heroes, but you also have historical figures in the book, and some that are kind of famous these days, particularly when we think of Six the musical. So, how did that work, putting in actual historical figures in your realistic, fantasy?
Yeah, so there is history involved, and a lot of it is true. And there's certain facts in it, maybe I might turn the volume up a little bit, but a lot of it is true. So it's based on Bloodstone Island. Bloodstone Island, imagine Jurassic Park but instead of dinosaurs, it's endangered animals, right? And there is a place that exists like that, and it's in its own hemisphere. It's amazing. It's on the Atlantic. And then I thought, well, the school needs a DNA. And what first came to mind was Queen Elizabeth I. You think, okay, she's full of girl power, she did it, amazing, right? And then I thought, well, you know, what about her mother? And Anne Boleyn? And the first thing, someone in publishing said to me, oh, no, don't go near here, no one likes her. And I was like, really? And so the more I sort of unpacked her, I felt terrible for her. And actually what I discovered was just, you know, a really bright woman that actually did the best she could and then got executed by some horrible gits that didn't like her, basically. And can you imagine, so you're a mother and you've got a 3-year-old little girl and you know you're going to be executed. That's one thing. And the other thing is, imagine if you're that little girl and you know that your dad had your mother's head chopped off, right? So that's 500 years ago. So when Queen Elizabeth I grows up, she's like, okay, I'm queen now, so I'm going to build a school. Now, you want me to get married? I don't think so, right, after what I've seen. But instead, my heirs are going to be the students, the polymaths at this school, their ideas. That's what my legacy is going to be. So she builds a school in honour of her mother, okay? All the DNA of Anne Boleyn, which is about reform, creativity, and she was ahead of the time, but she was just, you know, a lot of people were threatened by her. Anyway, so that was 500 years ago. Cut to 500 years later, Rosie Frost gets sent there, and she doesn't know why. She's orphaned, and she's sent to this school full of really smart kids, and the DNA of the school has got all that heritage.
Well, and it's on this island, as you say, with all these endangered animals. And you have a thing for animals, as I understand it. So how did you work that in? Like, was that always the plan from the start to bring the animal fact? Like,
yeah. I mean, it's funny. I think if we take the world in, everything is copy. Everything we see in what we do is copy. It's like they're in our memory banks, or it's prologue, you know. And we bounce, you know, from it into something. And you know, I've always loved going to like London Zoo, particularly, and zoos. They can be brilliant for conservation. For example, London Zoo. So David Attenborough is patron there, and as I am. And you've got animals there that don't exist anywhere else in the world. You know, they're extinct. That's it. Game over. But there, they exist. Like there's a Socorro dove that's there, and it's like, oh my god, so you see the beauty of them. Also, Komodo dragons are there, and the one that you saw in James Bond. And so that it's a beautiful thing. So I've always, even when I was a little girl, I just loved animals because they're honest. You know, when you get back home from work, your dog or your cat just loves you. They don't give a shit. Sorry, swear. Get the swear pops out.
They're all terribly offended.
Yeah. I actually did have my 6-year-old daughter. The only time I said, look, if mummy swears, I was away. I said, I'll give you $1, right? And I was tired a lot. You know, it's a lazy adjective, isn't it? And we went home, and she went home with about $40 in the bag.
Well, that actually is a question I have. So you have, you have 3 kids.
Mm-hmm. And I said, it's out. Do you know what I mean? Okay, you can have one of the first copies. And then the first thing he takes it on the plane with him, and he rings me, and he says, the first thing he says, and anyone with a partner might connect with this, what partners are like, he went, oh, it's so much better than I thought it was going to be. then like a couple of days later he went, do you know what, I finished it, I couldn't put it down. He said, I just wanted to know what happened next. And I was like, my work is done.
And what about your kids?
there's all sorts of books that have influenced me. I would say, and there's certain ones they leave a sort of an impression on your heart. And I would say that's timeless, and that would be The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. You know, when you just go through the wardrobe and you're transported to somewhere to Narnia. I love that. And I always like this sort of combat of good and evil. You know, the challenging within yourself, you know, Edmund and... Oh, yeah. Because there's an Edmund in all of us that just wants to, you know, just wants to evil.
Turkish delight.
Turkish delight. That's simple. I just think
Terrible.
yeah, it's not about the Turkish. Everyone's got Turkish delight, whatever it is. It's quite interesting. That stayed with me. Enid Blyton, which is very, very English, the naughtiest little girl at school, she had a trunk. I was really little, but then when I was older, you know, I'd read Jackie Collins, so it's a bit rude.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But one thing that I would say is I try never to underestimate how smart kids are. You know, they're so much, like my daughter, when she was about 10, she read my favourite book, is The Book Thief.
Oh yeah!
Yeah, I think that's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing, that's probably my favourite book.
Oh,
Yeah, it's great.
I have this editor. All right, next question for you. And Enid Blyton never took off in America. I don't know why, but all very popular, but not popular in America. All right, this one is, you've said you're a history buff. Any particular events provide inspiration for your work? That's from Alicia.
Well, I think if anybody looks at the Tudors, I mean, it's so dramatic and inflammatory in so many ways. You're like, really? Did that really happen? So, I mean, Rosie Frost, although it's set in modern times, it really does reflect back. If you want a little bit of history, it's just leaning it in there. Anne Boleyn, she does, you know, the ghost of Anne Boleyn comes into the story. And just looking at that, but to remark, do you know what, a question that I asked myself, who writes history? I read that and I thought, that's true. Who wrote that? Who recorded those events of that version of that person? I thought that's a really interesting question to ask. And then reminding myself that actually all these people in history that we read about, you forget they're human. You know, that's a human being, which is, you know, a woman of 30. And then just looking at Queen Elizabeth I, what she had to do in her time. She was 26 years old and become, you know, a Queen of England, and she became and built this, you know, amazing. She was such a strong queen and so respected and revered of her time. You just think, wow, that's inspiring. But what happened was, which we might find interesting, so when Anne Boleyn, she knew she was going to die, she left her daughter a rule book with 4 rules in it.
I was going to ask you, because don't those 4 rules appear in the book?
Yes.
What are the 4 rules?
Okay, so Falcon, everyone called Anne Boleyn the Falcon Queen, okay? And she left these Falcon Queen rules for her daughter. It's a bit like going, I'm not going to be here, but here's 4 rules to help you get by. And these 4 rules then are given to Rosie Frost. But these 4 rules, I believe anyone could use these 4 rules. Okay, so I'll share the 4 rules.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first rule is have courage. Take the chance you fear the most. And that's, you know, I'm always a little bit, always be all right, just go for it anyway. Number 2 is united we stand, divided we fall. So, you know, when I'm up against something, whether I feel, you know, bullied or, you know, I've got to go for something, it's not just resting on my power. It's, you know, together we do it. And then the third rule is never give up. Be the light, serve your kingdom, you'll win your fight. So it's kind of saying, actually, when I'm here, and I'm sometimes think, oh God, you know, maybe I'm a bit tired or I'm a bit scared. But if I know that I'm being of service, be the light, serve you, then it becomes, it's like a superpower. Because then that way, you might think something of me that I don't like, but actually it's not about me. And then suddenly you become a bit more forthright in your direction. It's really helpful. And then the 4th rule is probably one that we can all do with, which is to thine own self be true, as Shakespeare. If you liketh not these rules, make up your own. And I think that's quite useful, just be in your own lane. There's no right way to do it. And I think in the world that we live in, where we can't change whether that person likes us, what the weather's going to be, whether we get the job, or blah, blah, blah. But if I can have self-confidence, if I can have good self-worth, that's such a good ammunition, or it's fortifying. And I think those 4 rules help you do that.
That's awesome. Thank you. This one actually we already answered. This was from Carl asking, have you begun adaptation? And if so, who would play Rosie? That's from Falcon.
Yes. Yes. And then I see the person that plays Rosie would be probably a person that was not famous.
An unknown.
Unknown. I think that's. But I'd see like someone a bit like either. Let me think. Have you seen Stranger Things?
Yes.
So I think her name is Max Sadie.
Oh, Max would be good.
Yeah, but she's going to be a younger her.
No, let's just get Max.
Max. I think she's amazing. That's how I'd see her.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Or you go like, yes, to find, and they don't have to be the loudest person in the room to be the strongest. Then you look back at Lindsay Lohan or Drew Barrymore when they were younger, and they just, what I like about all of them, none of them are perfect.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You feel like, yeah, I would want you on my team.
Yeah, they were relatable.
Relatable, I think it's important.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. I still think Max is such a good idea.
Max, good, yeah? Max.
Okay, this one comes from Scotty, who wrote Scotty Spice.
Scotty.
Yes. Can you share
through so you can just really focus? Then I read this book by Stephen King.
On writing?
Yes, and he said, and I sort of got to this later, but I don't think that, for me, I'm sort of learning as I go, but I don't have any set rules, but also set times, that discipline.
I don't think many people know that Stephen King did one of the best writing books of all
It's
time.
really good, it's really good.
Yeah.
In there, he says, kill your darlings.
I don't think he's ever done it.
Yeah.
All right, Geri, will you ever gift us with another autobiography? Asks Corey from Canada.
No, Corey. Do you know what? When I think about that autobiography, and it was, I think it was quite...
See. This one actually is also from Scotty. Scotty, you wrote your name. It's okay. How difficult has it been for you to make yourself and your family a priority over your career, and what advice do you have to women trying to balance it all like you have? What advice would you give women?
Yeah, I mean, it's, for anyone, I think these days there's so many, I think whether it's men, women, anybody, that we're all trying to find that balance, and, I think we're all learning. And I felt it definitely when, in my 30s, thinking, when I had my first child, and I thought, actually, I want to be present, but then equally, I want to be a creative person, So, a present mother, creative, how can I balance that? And so, I was doing, and I still do it. What I like about writing is that, you can do it anywhere. So that was brilliant. So as soon as I'd done the school run, I'd run back to the desk. And so that was helpful. And then if I went away now with my husband, I can take my laptop and just ignore everyone, and then I do it then. So it's quite useful. I think that it really suits my life for that reason. But it's not. I think everyone juggles with whatever job you are. you know, because it's nice to be able to go to work and share that example, but then you want to be present for your children. So, yeah.
What character from Rosie Frost would you play in the movie version?
Do you know what? I don't know. I have to think about it.
You've never gotten that question?
Well, I have. But
Oh, I see.
the part I thought, oh yeah, I'd give myself that part. But now I'm thinking, oh, time's getting on a bit. You're too yeah. And so I would want to do. I love playing the casting game. So yeah.
Okay.
There are some really good characters in there. Do you know what I was writing? I love the bad. I don't like saying baddies because I don't think anybody is bad. I think in every bit of bad, there's a bit of good. I think real people, you know, we're three-dimensional. But when you get to behave badly, like through a character, and you're not going to get in trouble, it's quite good fun.
Plus, it's just fun to hear the word baddies.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to end with this one. And I think this is a good one to end with. This is from Sarah. And she asks, and this could apply to your writing, it could also apply to your life. Have you ever felt stuck? And how did you get past it?
Yeah, I think we can all feel stuck. And I think that one of the worst things in life is indecision. You know, when you just like, is it this, is it this? And sometimes I'm learning that, you know, because I'm quite impatient, I would say, to allow that feeling, to say, okay, I don't know the way, and just to be in that moment. But then sometimes, you know, we have to show up anyways, those 4 rules, you know, have courage, just show up anyway, even if it's wrong. You know, 2, lean on, you know, united we stand. Number 3, don't make it be of service, just it's not about you. And 4, just give it a go and make your own rules. Just sometimes we just have to show up. I don't think there's a right way to do it. It's giving yourself the grace of mistakes and just like allowing it to wherever you are in life, I think.
Well, Geri, thank you so much for joining us today.
All right, and what are you giving her?
This one. She's signing this one.
Yay! Oh, cool. All right, Violet, you're next.
Oh, thank you for coming. Yeah. When work is no one shut up. Right, exactly. So thank you. Yeah. Here we are.
How are you doing?
Oh, one more photo. This way. 3, 2, 1. This way. 3, 2, 1.
This is everything Violet packed for our one-day trip. There's my stuff. In that little bag. Oh, hey, Violet. Is that my old luggage bag?
Yep.
Well, hello. Is that a luggage bag that I bought for kids? It is. Okay, so Violet and I we didn't just meet. We met her last night. We couldn't really take a video because they were like, give us your cameras.
Yeah.
Get your book signed. Go, go, go.
Go, go, go.
Which is totally fine and understandable because they had, what, over 415 people? And people were still rolling in.
Plus
so,
after that, yeah.
and plus after that. So that was a big number. It was a huge crowd. The Tivoli was full. But yeah, it was a fun time to meet Ginger.
Amazing!
And Violet, what did you do with Ginger?
I gave her my drawings. Oh, I gave her one of my drawings and she signed the other one.
Yeah. And I called her a legend. I'm the one that got speechless.
She turned to me and she was like, "Oh, you're an artist." I was like, "Yes."